Come in.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are very, very much welcome here.
All right.
I just touched your butt.
Oh. Well,
How'd that feel?
It's a great way to welcome people sometimes. You know?
Yeah. Just don't do it at your workspace, please.
Well,
Not with your employers, not with your employees.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Was there a special occasion or something you wanted to talk about today?
Yes. We're going to talk about random jobs that we've had.
I've only had...
Oh,
I've
you're
only
going
had-
right into it?
I've only had one random job.
You have had one random job.
I might have to think of other things I've done.
I've had tons of jobs.
I've got paid
Tons.
to do some stuff before.
Some
Maybe I
stuff?
need to talk about that. Okay.
What does that mean?
Yeah. I have had a couple other random jobs. We'll get into it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was thinking about, like, people don't know who we are, right? This is Dharti. This is Sanjay C. And we are professionals that fell into the YouTubing gig.
Yeah.
But while we were professionals, we were always uploading things on YouTube ever since YouTube was created.
Very
Like,
random stuff, though.
yeah, like home videos or our experiences just for ourselves as like an album.
Mm-hmm.
So we could look back on and be like, hey, YouTube's a spot that like carries all our videos on our trips and experiences.
Yeah.
And there's some really, really special things in there, hidden in your unlisted.
I thought you already put them on your channel. Don't you have them on your
No,
channel?
I do not have anything on my channel.
You've got to transfer all that stuff to your channel.
I
If
know.
you like it. If you want to share all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I do want to share all that stuff.
Or make a video about some of that stuff. Put some context around them. Because sometimes it'll just be a video of, Kyoto, our dog, doing something fun.
And actually, it's been trending lately. Like back in the day, I'm talking about like, okay, so she's going to be 11 years old, 11 or 12. And so let's say I like uploaded it 9-10 years ago. All of a sudden, and it was like 30-40 views. All of a sudden it's at 1,000 views. And it's my sister blowing on her ears in a rhythmic way. And it's so funny. It was like, it's trending now. And I was like, what?
See? You
So
never know.
random.
You never know.
All right. So we are professionals that fell into this. I'm from the psychology world. You're from the technology world. Now, technology and business world. He has like many degrees. Do you want to talk about it? Just give a little snippet and then we'll talk about our random jobs that we had.
You mean you want me to talk about my day job?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I have a day job, not just YouTube, but I have a regular day job in the technology industry. Yeah, I do project management kind of stuff. Been doing it for a long time. Yeah, it's okay. It pays the bills. That's all I'll say about it.
Well, now you say that because you're a YouTuber, so it's not as exciting as what you're doing now. So it's like the perspective has probably shifted, right?
Yeah, I think it has. But I think we also evolve as people through our lives, and some things that were very exciting may not be as exciting to us as we learn more, as we gain more experience, as we become different people even. So yeah, I think there were some really exciting things I was involved in, but now it's kind of like, I've been doing that for so long, I'm kind of ready for something different.
So long, like over 20 years, 25 years.
Over 25 years, yeah.
Over 25 years.
Yeah, I started when I was 5. Yeah.
He did start when he was 5. Why am I caressing you?
I don't know.
Okay. I always knew I wanted to go into psych.
Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you. It feels so good. I always knew I wanted to go into psych because unlike now, I felt like I didn't get that much love. And I was always like struggling to make friends and I was bullied a lot. And I knew very early on that, and I don't know how I knew this, but I felt like I was more, like I reflect back and I feel like I was more mature back then as a kid than I am now. And I can't, it's just like this mindset, but I remember being very, very, very self-aware, very aware of my surroundings and being like, I want to help other kids that are in my situation, and I don't want other kids to feel lonely or beaten up or whatever that's happening with them. And so I knew that very early on. It was between that or being a Bollywood actress or an archaeologist, because I love learning about like the things that Indiana Jones did, looking for ancient civilizations and treasure.
We all wanted to be Indiana Jones at some point in our lives, so I understand that.
And then, of course, the Bollywood side, I was always dancing and dressing up, and my mom was always dressing us up, and we would film little things at home. But anyways, I always knew I wanted to help people. So yes, I've been working since I was a teen, and it was always a job strategically taken to one day become a PsyD. That was like my thing. I want to be a PsyD. Dr.
What is
Patel.
a PsyD?
A doctorate in psychology.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I wanted to be a doctor because I wanted to like prove myself, prove other people. There was always so much pressure for like higher education.
Right.
And I was like first generation going into college or finishing college at least. Both of my parents were in colleges and were like removed from there, so they have to get married and get shipped over here, basically. That's a different story. So anyways, I always strategically placed myself in places where I would learn more about people in different settings with different populations. And that's what I did throughout our marriage even. Yeah. So that was the bulk of my profession, psychology, for like 18, 19 years.
Okay. So you're not saying that, so that was then your career, and now are you gonna tell us about your random job next?
I guess.
All right, so your random job.
When I was done with college and I got married and all that stuff, I did all my psych work, and I've worked in tons of different places. So I've worked in a women's center with domestic violence issues. I've worked in schools, teaching / working with people with like kids with disabilities, students, aiding with things like that. So, after I was done, I was like, oh, I still need to work. I need to pay my bills, help out in our marriage, things like that. So I found this job as a behavior analyst to work with people with autism. And it was amazing. I ended up working in a vocational program where young adults to adults were placed in random, job settings. And I would go and train staff and tell them how to work with these clients and really like write treatment plans and things like that. And that's where I was like, whoa, I really love working with this population. It's really rewarding. I feel like I'm actually doing something, as opposed to, yes, I knew I was doing something before, but when you're in a hospital setting, you see the patient come in at their worst and then they're discharged and you don't really see the outcome. And a lot of times you see reoccurring patients with the same sort of like reoccurring, very severe problems, and you're just in this like negative space that you're trying to make positive, and it's such a struggle. But here you're seeing progress, and I got to see like what happens outside of a hospital setting, and did that for a while. That opened up doors for more consulting positions like that in other organizations, people with dementia, Alzheimer's and other things. And I did that for a little bit, but then all my health stuff started happening, right? So then that was another point in my life where I talked about like, should I be like doing this more, because it just takes so much out of you, like physically, mentally. And I by this time I was like 17, 18 years into it. And you were like, why don't you become a flight attendant? Right?
Did I suggest that?
Who suggested? I feel like a friend. I always say a friend suggested it, but I don't remember which friend or who suggested it. But I was like, I was looking it up and I was like, whoa. And this was like months later. I was like, there's actually a flight attendant position based out of DC. I didn't know what that meant. And the conversation we had was like, we don't know how long we are going to live, or I'm going to live, or what's going to happen with my health. And it was a very like tricky situation back then, a lot of unknowns, a lot of education we needed and treatment that I needed to figure out what was happening with my body. So it was like, Go have fun. Enjoy the world. Enjoy people. And enjoy people in a different way, you know, where you're not getting beat up every day. And so I took...
I want to clarify what my position was in that.
Okay.
Because I think when you brought that up, I was more thinking you should do anything that ever comes to mind.
Okay.
I think even if you weren't at that point in your life, even if you didn't have your health issues, if none of that was even there, I still would have said, if you have like a bright idea anytime, you could even have it today, be like, wow, I just wish I could work in this field. I'd say you should do it. Do it. Start tomorrow. I just think the opportunity that you have to try anything is just it's so great. We're lucky to be in a country where you could actually do that. And I think everybody, if you want something bad enough, you can go get trained in it. You can go learn something and you can go do it. So that's what I really believe in. So when you brought that up, I was more like, absolutely. You should do anything that comes to mind if you feel excited about it.
I love that about you. And I think this is something like you... in a relationship, people should talk about, because I think we get I was so focused in like psychology and what I wanted to achieve for myself. It was never a question of like, should I be doing something else? Should I even like look outside? I think the first time I did that was when I was working on my master's, and you actually told me like, you're working psych, you're studying psych, like, why don't you do like an easier job so you can finish your master's? And I was like, it's time for me to leave the hospital, because they hadn't given me a raise in like 5 years, and they weren't promoting me. They were promoting other people. And there was all this injustice happening for me that I was like, I can't put in more time here. I'm not happy. And so I left, and I ended up working at that biotech company as a purchaser for a multi-million-dollar biotech company. I was their purchaser, and I saved them so much money. And I think in that moment, that's when I learned that, whoa, like Sanjay doesn't really care what I do.
Yeah.
And the way we're raised, like culturally, is like, make sure you have the good job, make sure you're successful, make sure you're pulling your weight, whether you're a man, especially if you're a man, and also you're a modern female, you're doing the house stuff, you're doing the kids stuff. If you have kids, you're doing the career stuff. So I had that in my head, and I had a lot of pressure on myself to like pull my weight and contribute, because I knew you worked hard. And I was like, I've always worked. Like, it was never a matter of I'm not going to work hard, but I never asked you like, what would you think if I actually went into acting, until later on in life. So anyways, my other random job at the biotech company. And thank you for being you. I really, really appreciate that about you. And I feel like more couples should have that conversation. Like, what is expected of each other from each other's career? Like, it's not just about as a joint unit, you're in a marriage and you have to just keep doing what you're doing. But as an individual, like, if I'm not happy somewhere anymore and I'm burnt out, is it okay for me to completely leave that career and do something random, do something different so I can explore myself again?
You only have, like, depending on what you believe, this may just be the only life that you have. And if it is, you're living your own journey. We live a journey together.
Yeah.
But you're also telling your own story.
Yeah.
And your life is that story that you get to tell, and you get to make choices that help you tell the story of who you are, who you want to be in life. And yeah, we share a story together, but you're also your own person. And a part of that is exploring different things and trying new things. And you absolutely should do that. Yeah, you have a conversation with each other, because if it's something that you totally don't, that I totally don't agree with, I'm like, or something that we're gonna have to discuss and collaborate on so that we find a good solution for us both, then have that discussion. But I believe that, hey, we're living, you've got this one life, live the story you want to live.
What's really interesting about what you're saying is when I did go and was like, okay, I'm going to be a flight attendant, I had so many people come up to tell me that really? He's allowing you to do that? What's going to happen with your marriage? You're going to be going everywhere. You're going to be all dressed up. You're an attractive person. Is he going to be jealous? Is he going to be okay with that? There's so many like doubts and questions about that. And I was just like, I didn't even think about that because I'm just thinking, hell yeah, I'm going to be on a plane, traveling, meeting people and traveling. Like, and I think for me, it was like, oh my God, I get free benefits. Like I get travel benefits. We can go anywhere we want, you know, pay your taxes and whatever.
Yeah.
So until that was put in my head, I really didn't think about it that way. And you're not like that. That's why I didn't think about it that way. And it's so refreshing, like to be like, wait, no, that's not a concern. Like this is a job and this is a lifestyle choice that we're making. And yeah, we missed each other, but literally I would do all my flights in a week and a half, and I'd be home for the rest of the month.
Yeah. I almost felt like at times it was 3 days. Maybe rarely it was 7 days that you were away, but usually it was like 3 days or even less sometimes.
A week.
Yeah. A week was the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't, I don't know.
Sometimes I would do my minimum flying just because I had so many doctor's appointments and stuff.
And then we just work it out.
And then, yeah, sometimes I'd fly more if I wanted to make more money.
Some things will be tough, but that doesn't mean you don't try things. So yeah, it was good. I think that was a good thing. So now you've talked about a couple random.
Yeah. Should you do your one random job and then we'll go back to all my other random jobs?
Okay. Now, now that I'm thinking of it, I don't even know if I could call it a random job. It was a job I got when I was still in high school. Yeah, I was still in high school. In my situation, I only had 2 jobs. So that's why this is the only one I can call a random job. But I'll talk about 2 other things. So this job was actually at Blockbuster, the video rental store. Yeah, there's hardly any. I think there's only one more Blockbuster left in the whole world.
We should go visit.
But there used to be Blockbusters in like every little city in town across the U.S. and in other countries too.
Yep.
And that was my job in high school. I can hardly even remember like going there. I think I must have gone there, just got an application, filled it out. I got to work there. It was actually a very cushy kind of job for a high school student.
Actually,
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's not like a fast food restaurant job or a server type of job in a restaurant. It's just you've got these videotapes in cases. And you got to make sure they're in there, and then you put them back in the right place.
No, make sure they're rewound.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
So easy to put that in and rewind. I don't care if you didn't rewind. I'll rewind for you. Who cares? And yeah, it was an easy job. People would come in and they would just bring the movies they wanted to rent, and it was very, very easy. I was so glad that was the only job that I had to do before I actually started working for this other organization that I've worked with ever since.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it was an interesting experience for me because back then I wasn't in the mindset of being responsible with a job. I was responsible with it for a little while, but then after a while I just lost interest. There was other things I wanted to do. I wanted to hang out with friends. I wanted to talk to girls. I wanted to watch TV, anything but have to go into that job. So
all of us. Nobody wants to work.
I actually just stopped showing up.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. You stopped showing up at your cushy job.
I lost interest, and so I just said, I just don't want to go anymore. So I should have just called them and said something, but I just stopped showing up. But then, so I didn't show up.
Wait, but did anyone call you about it, like looking for you? Like, what about your shifts?
I don't remember, but I do remember this. Like after maybe it was days or weeks of not showing up, one day I said, I'll go in today.
What? Oh my.
So I show up like nothing happened.
And they're like, something happened.
Yeah, and the boss is like, so I terminated you already? I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I'll leave then. Bye. That was the end of that job.
Okay, that is random. That part is random.
It is. That was such a random job.
How much self-confidence do you have? How much self-confidence does this young person have to ditch on their job?
Yeah.
Never call or anything, basically ghost them.
Yeah.
And then
just
show up when they felt like it and was like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And they're like, and you're like, okay. I actually just saw Pete Davidson from SNL going, okay.
That actually would have been really cool if I just went back in and said, all right, I'm working this shift. And they were just like, okay. And they just let me. That would have been the ultimate. They should have just let me do it.
Oh,
I was a pretty good worker there. When I was there in the store, I always did my job. I did it well. But,
did you?
Yeah, I absolutely did.
After that story?
Yeah, I did my job well. I never like getting in trouble, so I always like to follow the rules and when I'm there. But if you're not in front of me, man, every rule's being broken.
Oh yeah, free for all, sure. I was good inside and outside of work, okay? Or I tried to be.
You have another random job?
I have, yes. You reminded me.
Okay.
So when I was 16, legal enough, I guess that's high school, I had a job at a travel agency. So see,
okay.
my travel parts were there very early on.
What was your position?
It was like a clerk assistant thing, taking
like answering phones and stuff?
phones
Oh, cool.
and doing all that. I'm laughing because I just realized I was you, but for way short of a time. So I only did it for like 3 days.
And then you just ghosted
And I did
them.
it.
You ghosted them, didn't you? You stopped showing up.
I stopped showing up.
See?
But no, I had my mom call, I think. I believe I had my mom call and be like, oh, she can't work. We have family issues or something, which we probably did. We had all sorts of like transportation issues and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was the end of it. And he sent me 4 days worth of pay.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is my first paycheck, my first legal paycheck.
Oh, so was that your first paycheck? Your first real paycheck from an outside job?
Yes. And then after that, I tried to do telemarketing because my
cousin... Wait, I want to ask you about your first paycheck.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What'd you buy with that first paycheck?
Nothing.
Did you not even a small little thing for yourself?
No, I think we cashed it and my parents probably took it because they had money problems. I don't remember specifically doing anything with that or saving it or anything. I think it went straight to my parents.
Well, I bet your mom's going to watch this episode and she's going to be like,
no.
I know exactly what you bought. And she's going to
You bought
put it in
CDs.
The
you bought jeans. I
actually do remember what I bought with I don't know if it was my first paycheck, but it was one of my first from Blockbuster. I bought Adidas shoes, my first pair of Adidas shoes. Yes.
That's cool.
I don't remember anything else I bought, but I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, so you were gonna mention another job.
Yes, right after that, I tried this telemarketing job. My cousin was working there and suggested that, hey, it's free, easy money. But I went there and I went for the interview, and it was just like you have to follow this script. You cannot go beyond this script, otherwise you get in trouble or fired. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? I talk too much. I'm going to be like, hey, hey there, George. What's going on? Are you feeling okay? I'm hearing some sadness in your voice. What's going on? Did you want this? You don't want this? All right, let's chit chat. I'll make you feel better. And I'd end up being a mental health hotline. Okay. And immediately get fired. It did not work for me. They had me read the script and I read it and they're like, oh, you have a nice voice. They were like, your English is so good. And I'm like, yeah, I was born here. Like, the whole, I used to get you're articulate. You speak clear English and all this stuff. And it's like, you're not complimenting me at all. What do you think you're doing just because you see my skin? Anyways, so that was the whole thing. So I was already turned off by that. Okay, because I was very self-aware of things like that because you're brown and you're born with that kind of realization. And then I was like, I have to stick with this. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. So I left.
So did you do it at all?
I did not do it at all.
Oh, come on. I wanted to hear the story of your phone calls and stuff.
But guess what?
What?
I still got paid. I got paid a week's worth.
A week's worth?
I don't know how. I don't know what happened, but I got a paycheck. I got a paycheck from there.
I did 2 other jobs. So there's one job, my mom's boss. It was summer vacation time. Mm-hmm. So I'd visit my mom's office and her boss was there. And I was like, I need to earn some money somehow. So I asked him if he had any jobs for me to do. He's like, you can clean my car. So
that's fun.
Yeah. I cleaned his car. Probably spent about 4 hours on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was really clean.
That was detailing.
Yes. I did a really good job with it. And yeah, cleaned his car. Then there was another one.
Wait, can I say? I love cleaning cars. That was one of my jobs with my dad when I was younger.
That could be your next career.
It could be my next career. I loved going in there with the Windex, the smell of Windex, just cleaning things inside, outside, seeing the shine.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
I loved that.
It's very rewarding.
Hosing things down, you know, the soap.
I like doing the interior because you get into some of those details and it's like it transforms.
Get those crumbs out, you know?
Oh, that's gross. Okay.
No. Well, we were a big family. Someone was always eating in the car, so gotta get those crumbs out.
You know, I did a random job for this guy once. He knew that I could build websites. So this guy asked me to build a website for him.
What? How old were you?
It was so like I probably was in my early 20s maybe. And this is back when it wasn't as easy to find a website builder.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the situation was, but I knew how to do it. So I built it for him. Yeah. And I actually earned some money off of that. It was kind of cool. Yeah. I just remembered that.
That's
it was
awesome.
it was just the one job, but yeah, it was kind of cool. And I was really into it. I was really into website design.
You were very into it.
Very into website design.
You had like your own like newsletter, like newspaper company.
That was different. Yeah.
All these different things that you've done.
It wasn't a newspaper company. It was an online magazine. So
I mean, it was, if you all got to see this, it was legit. It looked so professional. Like the photos and the articles and all this stuff. It was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing that for a while. So I started my own online magazine for a while. I found different authors and started putting out articles out there. It was a really interesting thing. I started getting into the content creation when blogging started.
Oh yeah.
I started getting interested in creating content.
You've been a creator all this time.
Creator for years, yeah. I've tried lots of different things. I've had my own website, created the music I was creating. I used to put it on the website as well. So content creation has been a big part of my life for many years. And then doing it from just sharing stuff that I'm creating was one thing, but then I wanted to take it to the next level. So I created the online magazine. And then, so we had multiple authors creating different articles and that was going out. And then when that stopped, then, it was a while before the next creator chapter started.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm so happy I've seen you through all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprisingly. You know?
You've seen most of that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. If I could like take out what's in my brain and just make a visual timeline for all you people to see what I've seen of you and of us.
Yeah.
That would be, oh my God, it would be like the most epic movie. Like it would be a 10-part movie series.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. If you can relate to any of this or you have some random jobs, please share it. Share it in the comments. I love when people write a comment. I do have a question.
I have a question actually you can comment on. If you could have a random job, like if you could have a job just for like 6 months or 3 months or maybe just a year, what would it be? If you could just escape your current job right now and just do something for a little while, comment below.
Comment below. What other random jobs? I've been a tutor. And that was while I was teaching when the parents, they really liked me because I was like...
How old were you when you were a tutor?
So it was before we were getting married and I had left the psych job because I was like, I need to plan the wedding and all that. So
so this was just like...
Yeah, I think I was 24, 25 during those 2 years. And it was...
What subject were you tutoring?
I was tutoring math.
Wow,
which is
good. That's pretty cool.
I just realized I was tutoring math.
Wow.
How many students did I do? There's definitely one that I had more consistently. And there was, I think, another one at that time period because another parent really liked me. So basically, I was like the Americanized girl that also had structure because I had that Indian backbone to make sure kids are doing what they need to do. And we were raised that way in the US, right? There was a lot of structure in our school system and you had strict teachers and you couldn't really dilly-dally and stuff and you were really focusing on work. So I kind of came from that 80s, 90s mentality. And also the new mentality of like, let's make it fun. So anyways, I landed these. They're like, oh, you're so great. And my child really responds to you. And they had some behavioral disabilities and some of them intellectual disabilities. Actually, I think there were 3 of them. There was a girl too that I tutored. So it was really nice to have someone with my psych background and new teaching background. They were like, hey, you'll be really helpful. So I tutored them in math and whatever class subjects that there were, and they paid me a lot.
Yeah.
This one parent gave me $30 an hour.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
it was really awesome. This other one, 25. I think it was 25. And this one person gave me 30. And they would give me gift cards all the time. And I'd never gotten gifts from anyone except when I worked at the school. It was so nice. Like, parents are so gracious, you know? Mm-hmm. Anyways, that was my other random job. So my other random job was interior decorating.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Remember?
that. Yeah.
While I was working on my master's for quite a few people.
Yeah.
I had...
That brought in some decent money, too.
Yeah, well...
One time it did.
A couple of friends, I gave a discount. I was like, and I felt bad because I felt like I should be doing this for free. But then I'm trying to make money too. And there's a lot of effort that went into it.
You're putting your time.
A lot.
Yeah, you're putting your time into something.
Yeah. And then depending on the people, it was so much mental work too and a lot of researching because I had a client that was so back and forth. It like I was getting paid that well, first of all. And then it was so many hours going into this. And then I still had my like schoolwork to do and I was working full time.
Did you enjoy the job?
I enjoyed the job with the easier clients that were like more creative freedom. And I was like, hey, let's go and do this. Cause I was a bargain shopper and I would do things like DIY type things too with the clients and get things done. And it was so much fun doing that. But with this particular client, this other client, it was that didn't know what they wanted. And I would try to narrow it down. They didn't like my suggestions back and forth. They liked all of my suggestions. It was just so flip-floppy that I could not do it.
Wow.
Yeah. And that taught me I don't want to do that. Anyways, but I love interior decorating. You know, we love doing that. And then now I'm a YouTuber. CEO, Sanjay C.
Well, that was a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of things. Damn, I've probably done a few more things that I can't think of right now. We've talked about our random jobs. Mm-hmm. Which one was your most favorite random job to do? That you were just so happy and like it was fun and all that.
I mean, I didn't really have many of them. I wouldn't go back to doing Blockbuster.
I just remembered you had one random.
I washed the car. And
were you happy?
I made a website. I wouldn't want to do any of those on a regular basis.
Okay.
If I had to choose one, I'd choose the washing of the car, actually.
Okay. Make sure you do that for ours afterwards, please. Thank you. I loved working for the biotech company. You know that. That team was freaking awesome. Like everyone was so nice, all the way from the CEO to the CFO to the COO to my GM, my boss lady, like everyone, the team, everyone was so awesome. We had bagels every week. We'd celebrate each other all the time. We laughed. We did a lot of hard work, you know, and I loved, you know, spending their money and saving a lot of their money and meeting with vendors and stuff. And then, of course, you know, man, I loved flying. I left my flying job for this YouTube growth. Right?
And to start something yourself,
and to
too.
start something myself that you're witnessing here. And it was like such a fun job to travel everywhere, but it was hard work. I didn't realize as a passenger, you'd think because I was like intuitive and I watch people and I was in the people business. Yeah, I would assume there was hard work, but the hard work that you all don't realize these flight attendants go through, and they're not getting paid for most of it. They're only getting paid for the closing of the door and the opening of the door in between times, the flight time. That's it. And you're on your feet all day, every day of your trips. So anyways, there's perks that you're like, yes, this is awesome. You get to do something extraordinary and you're on a whole different level and there's this camaraderie and all this stuff. But yeah, that job was freaking amazing. Like, I felt like it was so me. But now this is me in our own space for now.
For now.
For now. Building our brands, right? Sanjay C, Only1Dharti. And if you love our stories, please, please, please connect with us, subscribe, and keep spreading love. This is how we do it. We share stories, we connect with each other, and that's how we spread love. We hear each other out. We share what we want to share in a very polite, loving, respectful way. Please, 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 please. And yeah, there's only one Earth. So share your stories, like I said. We want to hear them and spread love. And see you in the next one.